The minister angry that police have done a good job. And he was angry and it made the meeting end up abruptly.
He maintains that Masimola's instruction for the task team to be disbanded was unlawful. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
The Merafong local municipality says it proposed installing 39,000 smart water meters across its jurisdiction to fix the ongoing water crisis, but some residents were against the move. Executive Mayor Nozuko Best and other officials met with frustrated Kokosi Township residents protesting over long-standing water cuts. Rand Water slapped the municipality with 40% water cuts over a 1.4 billion rand debt. The municipality says it will encourage residents who cannot afford to pay their bills to apply for the indigent grant. And in the US, comedian Jimmy Kimmel will return to his late-night talk show today after he was suspended for making jokes relating to the death of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. Disney, which owns the US broadcast network that airs Jimmy Kimmel Live, made an about turn yesterday, saying that it suspended the show because it felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. A partly cloudy Heritage Day in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Joburg drops to overnight lows of 13 degrees, peaking at highs of 28. Pretoria 14 and 29, Vereniging 13 and 27. Monkey Zikoko, Eyewitness News.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
#MSW.
You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High-dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Great show as always, Darop.
Thank you, Mr. Marawa. Good show as always.
Great show as always. Thanks.
Great show as always.
Great show as always, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful show, Robert. Thank you so much. It always gives me pleasure to speak to someone who's got such an insight.
I love the introduction.
Hey, what is show, Marawa?
I don't know, maybe you are still calling Mr. Mazuputu, or maybe that does not exist.
Show, Robbie.
Ladies and gentlemen, the contenders for the 2025 Ballon d'Or are Ousmane Dembele and Lamine Yamal.
Oh my God, they're getting crazy here. Getting crazy.
Yes, you guys all know this. This award is reserved for legendary players only.
Okay, Ronnie, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, whatever you want to call. You can unveil it.
Dembélé.
C'est exceptionnel ce que je viens de vivre.
Rob, I want to congratulate the legend Vela Kumalo, or Coach Vela Kumalo. I think that guy has been underrated, and I think it's the work of media to make sure that we uplift Coach Vela, we put him where he is.
Your final words, you heard it right there.
Rob, I don't like media. I like it when it's like this. I like it when you work with kids and you help them, you teach them, you educate them, and they become better people. You are coaching at the same time. You're saying after this game, it's study time. If you look at our program, it had the study time, it had the exam times, because the teachers at schools will send the exams and then we had to monitor such. So it's a big task.
So we put a policy in place that requires us only to fly when traveling above 600 kilometers.
What is happening at Siwelele? I heard the chairman mentioning something like they are going to be traveling in all the matches within or maximum of 600 kilometers.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Good evening, Rob. Good evening to MSW listeners. Rob, we need some clarity, man, on the issue of the deduction of the points by FIFA. Does the rules say the points must be deducted, or there is other alternative in terms of penalizing the team for fielding an ineligible player? I think some clarity is needed there, since there is a bit of confusion on social media with regards to the 3 points that either needs to be deducted or need not to be what are the FIFA rules saying? I think clarity is needed there. Thank you, Rob. And I think also the issue of the team management, it shows that there was lack of team management from SAFA in terms of allowing the coach to field a player who has been warned before, and that could bring problems into our camp. But good luck to them for the next games against their opponents for the CAF competition qualification. Thank you, Rob. Good show as always.
Appreciate it, man. I know that the submission has been made. It's in the hands of FIFA. South Africa has also now written to back up, I guess, their side of the story. So it's all in FIFA's hands. We can't say anything further than that. And hopefully it's not something that drags on and on and on, and that it is dealt with pretty swiftly. It is a Tuesday today. It is the Room Dividers. Looking forward to that and a whole lot more. But Marawa Sports Worldwide is proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Let's go! The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.
All right, and just any second now, they'll be climbing into the studio. We do have Mike Greenaway down in Durban. He's tracking down the Springboks. An important announcement was made right about 3:30 this afternoon. The Boks squad to take on the Argentinians down in Durban has been named by Rassi Erasmus. So the Room Dividers right here on Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by FNB. Hashtag grassroots to greatness on 947, Rise FM, Vuma FM, and Sowetan Live.
Dividing public opinion.
Are they empowering?
And setting the rugby agenda.
Do not forget where your history, South Africa, is. The enemy's desire is to try and erase it.
Welcome. You're with the Room Dividers.
All right, we'll deal with the Springbok side of things in just a couple of minutes. But hey, we needed to shine the spotlight somewhere, somehow, on a team that's kind of rewritten the script, the Griquas. I mean, in the final, if you watched that over the weekend, that delivered every ounce of drama. There was brilliance, there was heart-stopping intensity. I mean, they emerged victorious over the Fidelity ADT Lions. It was 27-25. And thanks to that post-buzzer penalty from the ice-cool George Whitehead. But this wasn't just a win. This was a statement. I mean, a 55-year wait shattered. A legacy was reborn. And at the helm of this historic rise stands a visionary, a leader who goes by the name of Annie van Rooyen. He's the CEO of Griqualand West Rugby Union, a man who delivered in the power of community. I mean, the strength of identity, the grit of a team that refused to be overlooked. And under his stewardship, the Griquas didn't just chase glory, they built it. From forging bold partnerships to rallying the Northern Cape behind their warriors. I mean, Van Rooyen has helped shape a campaign defined by tactical brilliance, emotional resilience, and the kind of rugby that lifts the province right to its feet. So that is why tonight here on the Room Dividers, we don't just celebrate a final, we honor a journey, and we also salute a union. And we welcome the new kings, though, of the Currie Cup, which is the Griquas, champions of South Africa. Arnie, good to have you on the line. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you, and it's a great pleasure for me to be on it, man.
Champions, has that sunk in yet?
Yeah, it's slowly coming to it now, yes.
Maybe if I do this, because we have to honor champions like this.
We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions, we are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
Well, Arnie, I hope that has driven the message home. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
I mean, after 55 years, lifting the Currie Cup, I mean, what does this moment mean to you personally and also to the union?
On a personal note, this is by far the biggest achievement in my career. For the union I'm privileged to lead, it's also the biggest achievement thus far. So we all are very happy and we can't really believe it, but it's true.
What do you think was the magic in the end? I mean, we watched that it was try after try, but we didn't know what was going to happen in the end. There were moments, there were attempted drop kicks that didn't quite get the mark, but they were getting closer and closer. And then, into the red zone, I call it, and then the magic happened.
Yeah, it's unbelievable actually when Dobela, who was a former player of us, got that penalty kick. I think it was a minute or two before the end. I walked down from the president's box that I was sitting in, and when I got onto the field, I think there was a minute left, and I see that at the far side of the field, according to me, they blew the final whistle, and I congratulated the people of the Lions, said, well done. Rugby can be a cruel game. And then I asked the team manager who was standing 10 meters from me, I said, why are other people not coming, the players not coming off the field? And he said to me that he showed to me with his hand, there's a TMO decision. And as I look up on the TV, I saw that player, I think it's the 4 or the 5 from the Lions, who tapped the ball down, and I knew completely, immediately I knew penalty, George Whitehead kick, and I turned to the Altman Alles was standing next to me, and I said to him, Altman, it's a penalty for Griquas, and I hope you know, George Whitehead don't ever miss, and I could see his whole face fall down. So it was magic. At one point in time we were losing, everyone thought we were losing, and the Lions were celebrating, and the next moment it was the elation of winning the Currie Cup. It was unbelievable.
So the name of George Whitehead, synonymous with the magic that he does with the boot, you were comfortable enough to know that this was going to clinch it for you?
I knew it. When we got that, I promise you, I didn't even worry once. It didn't go through my head that he could miss, because he's as cool as you get it. And I've seen him before hundreds of times slotting those penalties. Every day, in the mornings when you go to gym 5 o'clock, you'll find George Whitehead on the field training. If everyone leaves at 5, he will be there training. So now I knew it was Griquas game.
All right, I've got a man here in studio. He's no stranger to rugby. It's part of the Room Dividers. I'm sure you know Thando Manana.
I know Thando well.
Yeah. So he's here. Mr. Manana, welcome to the show. A very important guest here, the Griquas CEO. You also want to congratulate you, I'm sure.
Arnie, good evening. A long time. Good to hear from you, and well done to the team.
Thank you, Thando. Appreciate it.
Yeah, as you know, we tried in our time and we lost all the time in the final. But I must say that I think if you remember the final you played in Kimberley against the Pumas, and yes, everyone had you as top favorites, and it didn't go your way. So I think this time around, I think with your coach Peterberg and everyone that's been involved, I think it was a well thought sort of execution in the game. And one thing I just have to say is that despite the Lions, I say they didn't blow it, but I think you guys just outsmarted them from the beginning. I think that lead that you had in that first 20 minutes really took the wind out of them, and they had to sort of play second fiddle to a team that gave nothing away up until the last minute. Just for me, one question: the tag URC, was that the motivating factor for the team coming from Kimberley to Johannesburg? And taking back the cup?
For sure. Peter told me in the week that he told the players if he ever hear one of them talking about or saying the name URC, they're going to get fined 500 Rand. And our guys don't get a lot of money, so they didn't dare mention any URC and the name URC even. But I think Peter is a very, very good coach, and he's very, very clever. I think 3 weeks back we played them again, and they beat us 37-7 at Ellis Park in a league game. And he went back and he analyzed that game, and he came with his whole plan, a new complete plan, and he said to the players on last week Monday, if you guys do follow this game plan as I have it here for you, I promise you we will win. And that is exactly what they did, and the whole team believed in him, and all of us believed in that we're going to win it, and that's what happened at the end.
And I think just lastly, Rob, for me, I think people don't realize that the Lions had to make 167 tackles. That's quite a lot of tackles, and playing against a team that they thought would be doing the kicking with Whitehead at the helmet, first 5'8", and you just proved them wrong, playing them in their conditions, high felt, and moving the ball around but keeping possession. Is that the type of rugby that you guys are sort of going to be glued upon going forward?
No, I don't think exactly. I know Peter well, and every Monday I go sit with him, and me also being an old coach, it's interesting for me to talk to them and then listen and say, Peter, what is your game plan for the weekend and why? Now, interesting, everyone knew our back three is some of the best players in South Africa currently, and everyone is afraid of us going wide. And Peter showed me on the video clips, he said, Arjen, look here, and the Lions and all the other games, previous games that they played, they didn't put anyone, they didn't go on the rucks. They play green rucks the whole time. For the people that don't know, green ruck mean you don't commit people to the rucks. You make a tackle, and then the tackler is the only one on the ground. They fan out at that same point immediately, and that means you struggle to get past them at the outside. And he said the only way we're going to pull them in is by pick and go, pick and go, pick and go. And also, Thando, you are an old player, you know that pick and go, if you do pick and goes, the other team have to tackle the whole day and they get tired easily. And that is exactly what happened. They kept to that game plan. We pick and go the whole time there, and the Lions didn't adapt. And that's why they got so tired as well at the end. So I don't think that is a certain game plan that we always have to play. I think Peter will have a new game plan at every game. So it worked for us on Saturday, and we're very glad that he did. But next time it will be another game plan again.
Just very quickly, Mr. Van Rooyen, I was told that you love a little bit of fun. All I need from you for this quick fire questions is one word only. The first word that comes to mind when I say Griquas 2025.
Currie Cup.
Hardest decision you made this season?
Sorry, man, I can't hear properly.
The hardest decision that you made this season as CEO?
And determining the bonuses the players got to have.
The post-final celebration, champagne, braai, or a quiet reflection?
No champagne and braai.
George Whitehead's kick, nerves, or total faith?
Total faith.
One player who surprised you this season?
Dylan Mart.
Most underrated part of running a rugby union?
The finances.
Sure. And if you weren't in rugby, what would you be doing?
No, exactly what I'm doing now. I love it.
And your favorite rugby stadium in South Africa besides your own?
Loftus Versveld.
And one thing fans don't know about the Griquas locker room?
It actually looks very nice. It's not like a poor union supposed to be. It's very professional.
And who's the joker in the squad?
Oh, there's a lot of jokers.
The main one.
Cameron, fullback.
One thing I am told is that you love music. What song's playing in your car right now?
I like 80s and old music from the 80s, 90s.
Which artist?
Old rock and roll music, yes.
Give me one artist that really rocks you.
Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, I see. Hey. And dream guest to host at the Griquas home game?
Thando Manana.
Yeah, he'll tear things up here. You know this guy. And what's the biggest lesson here, Mr. Van Rooyen? That lesson that rugby has taught you?
Never give up. You never know what happens. It can be cruel, but just never give up. Always give your best and believe in yourself.
And you certainly did that, and that is why you are champions today. Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully one of these days you'll be up here in Johannesburg. We'll host you in studio.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, take it easy there. As we said, celebrations have continued there. That's Annie van Rooyen, Griquas CEO, joining us right here on The Room Dividers. Got a couple of questions for Mr. Manana coming through on the WhatsApp voice notes pertaining to this game. But as everybody lines up and gives us their opinions about Rassie Erasmus and what he has done this afternoon, feel free. It is The Room Dividers.
Live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time.
MSW.
The briefcases, the offers, the suspense. Don't miss a single moment on Deal or No Deal. Weeknights at 6:30 only on SABC2. It's real people, real money. One bold move could change everything. Fortune favors the bold. Will you deal? Brought to you by Lotto Star.
Lotto Star is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Every day, most of us spend an hour planning, prepping, and stressing over what's for dinner. That's around 29,200 hours of your life spent running from grocery store, the kitchen, to the fridge, to the stove. Why not spend that time running for yourself? Or towards something you love doing, and let You Cook handle dinner, delivered, prepped, and ready to cook. So choose You Cook and take back some me time. Visit youcook.co.za to find out how.
What would a youngin' do? The teacher's asking questions and looking at you. What would a youngin' do? Season 3 is even worse, not like 1 and 2. What would a youngin' do? We never ever fold, that's me and my crew. What would the youngins do? Get yourself a Showmax and streaming for you.
Switch to Showmax and stream Youngin Season 3. Get it from only 50 Rand per month. Sign up at showmax.com.
Outsurers will do all they can to save you money on your car insurance premium. But what if they just can't? Well, they'll give you cash just for trying. That's right, just ask for 500 Rand cash. But wait, there's more. If you don't save and have been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years, you can ask for 1,500 Rand cash. Savings or cash, you always get something out.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands.
What does you always get something out mean to you, Lorette?
Outsurance made it possible for us to live our dream to travel more with the money in our pocket that we save.
Let me know, what is it?
725. It was unbelievable. My husband, he sits there on the chair and he's just nodding his head and say, yes. This is really not just an advertisement. This is really real.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
The all-new Chery Tiggo 7 Super Hybrid brings you the ultimate driving experience. With a powerful 1.5-liter turbo engine and 18.3 kilowatt-hour battery. For a combined range of up to 1,200 kilometers. You get the efficiency to go further, quietly. Get into a Chery Tiggo 7 CSH from $599,900. Book your test drive at chery.co.za. More power to you, Chery.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Can you find out from PSL why don't they educate team owners on running the clubs?
Anybody can just buy a team if you got money, if you got whether it's from tenders or from anything else. It does not mean that you'll be capable of running a football team. If you're feeling that way, can you imagine what a Dr. Kaiser Mtaung feels?
maybe we also need, as the PSL, to come up with a formula where we make it not easy for people who went to the lotto and got 20 million and then decide to go and buy a club. Maybe that's a problem that we need to address.
Well, there's your answer. Hey, for a senior man in football in South Africa, in Kaizam Daung Senior, says that not everybody who just wins a jackpot or gets lotto money goes and buys a club. Then this is what you get.
I come to you today with good and bad news.
#MSW. #MSW.
And as we celebrate the power of sport and pride of our nation, FNB proudly backs the Springboks, driving transformation in the South African rugby and also from grassroots to greatness. From players and coaches to schools and clubs, FNB is inspiring future generations in green and gold as a proud partner of the Springboks. FNB help changes everything.
The scrums collapse. The tackles hit like thunder.
That is sensational rugby.
And the tries, they light up the scoreboard.
So impressive, it really is.
With Robert Marawa on Room Dividers.
Iconic Room Dividers.
On Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Very silly comment.
Mr. Rob, it's Fulifilang here, and good evening to the MSW Shoulders, and good evening to the Room Dividers. Springboks aside, because yes, they have a tough game against Argentina, I just want to ask the Lions and the Griquas. Yes, kudos to the Griquas, but where did it go wrong for the Lions? How did they bottle the match? Because they were, can I say, comfortable? They were leading, only for them to lose the game by a spontaneous penalty kick. And yes, in as much as it was a historic moment because the Griquas ended a 55-year title drought in as far as the Currie Cup is concerned, but for the Lions, they had the game in their hands. It was in their own backyard, yet they bottled it. Why? Where did it go wrong? Can they school us in that regard? Great show as always. Thanks.
Who would have believed the Griquas will beat the Lions, but you know, people are saying we're betting on Holy saying for us bet amaGriquas as winning at angeke amaGriquas and win amaGriquas benza imali mfethu azi bafethu Griquas beating the Lions bafethu angeke yeah, congrats to Osman Dembele. Oh gosh, that was beautiful ceremony last night.
All right, top ceremony as far as the Ballon d'Or is concerned. Maybe the Ballon d'Or kind of goes to the Griquas from the past weekend. Two questions, Mr. Manana, as we officially welcome you to the second segment of the Room Dividers, where we focus on the Springboks. But let's quick dip into the happenings over the weekend. The two questions really is, where did it go wrong for the Lions?
Rob, I think for me, credit must go to Christopher Ellison. He was the man in charge of that game. I think after that Dobela kick for them to be in the lead at that stage, 25-24, it was only Griquas who didn't give up. They played, and obviously the Lions' lock was sort of caught by Egan seconds on the TMO that he had hit the ball. So any referee, I mean, the whistle had gone and the Lions were all in jubilation, but he had to make up. Kudos to him on that, because some referee would have just signaled the end. I think the Griquas player, even if they'd protested, the game would have been over, but he reversed that decision and awarded them the penalty, rightfully so. But here's the two things that happened, is that Griquas, for me, first and foremost, I think people need to understand the Lions blew it. Let's be honest about it. It's for the second time they're doing that, back to back. They lost to the Sharks in the 82nd minute last year at Ellis Park on a rainy day. And okay, they had to work again. This year, beautiful condition in favor of them. Griquas having to drive plus minus about 7 to 8 hours from Kimberley to Johannesburg, gets here on a Friday, prepares for the final, they give it their all. You could actually see in the first half that they really want to get as much points as possible. But because you had a cool head in Chris Smith, you know, who sort of came back and led the Lions to go into the break, you know, leading a bit. But for him to come back and get injured in that first 3 minutes of the second half, with Dobela coming in, that was the swing in the favor of of Griquas. And then also you've got to understand there was near side touch line, the Angelo Davids, who had a clear run for the try line and was tackled with a cross-cover defense. And I think Angelo Davids had done something similar to Roscoe Speckman when he was still at the Cheetahs, where he just ran over him. And this time around, he was bungled into touch, and there the opportunity for them to score and convert had gone for the Lions. So I think those for me were the two critical moments, especially in the second half.
But also some handling issues. I mean, I saw at times where a touchline was within reach.
Yes.
Manana, and again, handling seemed to be a problem.
Yeah, but also remember, Rob, is what Arnie was saying is, the Griquas also were doing a lot of pick up and drive.
Yeah.
So the Lions didn't want to sort of fight fire with fire. They wanted to get the ball out wide to their wings because they know what the capable player like Angelo Davids can do, a Q1 Horn. I mean, Q1 Horn, you can't give the ball to the forwards. You've got to get it out wide. The fullback can do anything. I mean, he's the most talked about fullback in the country at this moment. But for me, was these Lions players, and I'm worried that fatigue is really going to creep into this team because they're playing more or less the same team again in the URC. So I think the players have been playing week in, week out, and I think they just got caught off concentration and not really having someone like a Chris Smith who would sort of bring them down and just you sort of control. Not to say Dobela didn't do the job, but it's always difficult to come off the bench and then you want to take control of a team that was actually well marshaled by Chris Smith at that stage. So for me, I think Rob, with those are the two turning points. But for the Griquas, for me, it was a never give in attitude from them. Cebo Dlamini led them tremendously as a captain, and then Mkondwana, when he came on as a deputizing captain, took over where Cebo had sort of taken the team too. But George Whitehead, for me, was a man of the match. He always kept them in the game. He's a serial killer when it comes to kicking, but also he controls it for them, and they have the back three. If you look at one of their players now going to the Stormers, Cebo is being loaned out to the Sharks. So they're very much fortunate to have those X-Factor players, and that's what got them in. But I think also it was just for them happy. I was happy to see them win, Rob.
Sure.
Because they had lost in Kimberley hosting the final. So they've won it away from home. That just makes it special.
All right, very, very special indeed. Manana, thanks so much. Let's wrap it as far as the big celebration is concerned down at Ellis Park over the weekend. Now let's fast forward to today and go back slightly to 3:30 this afternoon. That's when Coach Rassie Erasmus dropped his Springbok squad to take on Argentina this Saturday. And already the rugby nation is buzzing. Is the bomb squad era under threat? That's been one of the big questions. I mean, will we see the trusted 6-2 split, the risky 7-1, or is the game plan shifting altogether? And while many celebrated that emphatic 43-10 win over New Zealand that was as early as last week, the Bok attack coach, Tony Brown, I mean, he wasn't smiling. I mean, he says it's not good enough. And to unpack it all, the room dividers are here. As I said, that's Tanda Manana, former Bok flank, as well as rugby scribe Mike Greenaway. He's away on duty. He's doing duty for us down in Durban. He's tracking down the Springboks. He was at that press conference. Let me welcome Mike Greenaway first. Mike, good evening and welcome to the room dividers.
Yeah, good evening, guys in the studio. Good evening to the listeners, and greetings from the the Beverly Hills Hotel in Umhlanga Rocks, where your room divider is swanning it up. I'm looking out over the Indian Ocean as we speak, and Rob, you're an old KZN boy. It's one of those blustery days in KZN on the East Coast where it's grey skies and white horses on the sea. But yeah, and just to go back to Tony Brown, wow, you would have thought that he as the attack coach, he would have been taking a bow. But he fronted the media and no, he was in fact scowling. He said, look, guys, I know everyone's very pleased with us, but I'm not pleased. He said, we had 13 entries into the New Zealand 22 in the first test in Eden Park, and then we had a whole bunch more that we didn't convert, and then a whole bunch more in the first half in Wellington. So while we're getting carried away by the nice tries we admittedly scored, we are still way too charitable to the opposition. We still are not capable of putting together an 80-minute performance. And we're now halfway through our season, And yeah, we play well in patches, but I won't be satisfied until we have an 80-minute performance. And he was not smiling. So yeah, that's good, and quite a warning to the Springbok opponents that they can beat the All Blacks 43-10, and the coaching staff is not satisfied.
Well, you mentioned that, Mike. Let's just give the listeners a bit of insight in terms of Rassie Erasmus. I mean, he's doubled down now on consistency for the Springboks Rugby Championship clash against Argentina. He emphasized the importance of experience and cohesion.
Yeah, I think the team we picked was definitely with Argentina in mind to try and win this game. You know, they're speedy, they're bouncy. Sinti's a sevens player, Chocobaras. I mean, the Albanese, I don't know how to say his surname exactly. I think he's back. The nine is unbelievably pacey. The wingers are both pacey. You know, the fullback is so experienced. And they really got a well-balanced team and lineouts and everything. So we thought this team that we picked, not just for continuity from last week, even if we lost last week, I think the mix of this team, obviously, would have loved to have Luet still in the mix, and was a big ask, should we pick Sos or not, and Franco in this game or not. But yeah, we think the youth that they have and the willingness to play from deep and the way they are aerially, it's very similar to how we played at one stage. But yeah, they've got also this cutting-edge speed where there's a lot of sevens players. So I think this team is very much picked to try and beat Argentina.
All right, so just made to beat Argentina. So with that change, though, Mike is down in Durban, as you've mentioned. Tando, your reaction to what Rassie's saying, but there is no Luet de Jager, there is no Apelele Fassi. So Eben Etzebeth, Damien Willemse come in.
Rob, first and foremost, there's never a dull season in this Rugby Championship 2025 edition. I think for us, we've seen something that we haven't seen in the past. It's normally a two-horse race. Either it's New Zealand or South Africa, especially, for example, the previous years. But I think with the selection, Rob, let's be fair and saying that Fassi would have been in the starting lineup. So with an operation on his ankle, he's going to be out for a long time. Probably he'll miss the end of the year tour. And be back next year. So I think he needs to look at that. And then the immediate replacement there would have been none other than a Damien Willemse. I think we were so happy to see a Damien Willemse come in at 12 and do what he needs to do. People forget that this is a player that can play 10 comfortably, who's played it at Springbok level, can play 12. And in the 2023, he played fullback. So there's nothing lost. I think Fassi also, when he came in to be a regular, was because Willemse was injured for that year period, and he took over in terms of that. I think on the wings, Colby and Hooker. For me, Hooker is playing at home. He'll understand and know Durban very well. Colby for us is our X-Factor type of a player, and he'd want to come back post failing of the HIA and really put up a great performance. And I'm happy that Rassie has mentioned Conti and all the other players, the back three of Argentina. They're very dangerous. Ask Australia on how dangerous they can be in terms of loose play. But for me, the center combination, obviously, I would have loved to see Willemse and Cannon, but I think Dialinda is just, for me, formidable and also our number one inside center. So he's playing with the young Cannon Moody. For one, I think he's a better distributor of the ball than Jesse Kriel. Let's be honest again there.
Sure.
I think for me, he gives us more in the air than Jesse Kriel. Okay, and then also thirdly, I think his prowess as well is that he's got enough speed. Jesse's growing old, he's lost a yard of pace in his game plan. So I think this combination, I know he spoke about Lucanio Arm playing URSP, he might be back. It's a good problem to have in terms of combination. A couple of weeks back, we just had a Dialind and a Kriel center combination. Now all of a sudden we've got a Willemse Cannon combination, we've got a Cannon Dialinda combination, we've got a Dialinda Kriel combination, we've got an M still coming up. So we once again back to where we want to be. I think in terms of fly-off, I would just want to see something from Sasha for him not to commit unnecessary tackles. He got a HIA chasing someone running closer to the touchline. He hit his knee and he was out of the game. I think that's just youth, exuberance from him. I think he just needs to calm down. He just needs to know when to go for his tackle and tackle when it's necessary to do so. So I think he just needs to do that. Scrum half-wise, I think not seeing Grant is a problem for me in this team.
And that's the exciting conversation that we're going to have after the break. And I also want to go down to Mike as well so that he can touch on the bench split and what we can expect, though. But I think, sure, the Grant story, listen up for it.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
The Samsung Galaxy S25 FE is here to change the game. Get into your Editing Pro element with seamless video editing and audio eraser features powered by Gemini AI. Get it now for $599 per month for 36 months on MTN Yellow Plans Plus with data to use whenever you want and minutes to call any network. T's and C's apply. Visit an MTN store or mtn.co.za now. Today, we make moves. MTN.
Yeah, no, don't worry. In spring, I'll redo the lounge, freshen up the stoop.
Yep, you've painted yourself into a corner. Luckily, the Chamberlain Paint Festival is here to get you out of it with flying colours. From 24 September to 12 October, get 15% off paint mixing on Dulux, Plascon and Chamber Value. Get expert in-store advice from our friendly staff and master any DIY moment. Plus, you can stand a chance to win your share of 90,000 Rand in Chamberlain gift vouchers. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Mr. Govender, congrats on the retirement. You just sold your car to We Buy Cars. Tell us about it.
Yes, it just gathered dust in the garage, so I exchanged it for cold hard cash. Now my wife and I can enjoy a stress-free retirement.
Retiring the car as you retire. Nice. So why We Buy Cars?
It was so quick. They came over to our house to do the evaluation, and we sold it the same day. Tops, man.
Okay, so now you got even more time on your hands, eh?
Exactly.
We Buy Cars. Geared for your next chapter. Geared for you.
Marawai, why did you think a plastic bag and tape was a solid window replacement after that smash and grab? And why does it sound like a kite every time you hit Puma 60Ks? Marawai, why aren't you insured with Santam, the insurer that covers theft or attempted hijacking? Get your car covered online in just 2 minutes or SMS cover to 36101. Santam. This is freedom. T's and C's apply. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and controlling company for its group companies.
Get more amazing value at Food Lovers Market this Big Deal Wednesday. Buy a 10 kg medium potato pocket and a 10 kg large onion pocket for only $69.99 per combo. And save big on delicious pork braai chops at just $59.99 per kilo. Now that's great value. Valid this Wednesday only at all Inland Food Lovers Market stores. It's in the experience.
Summer in SA. It's shorts, shades and braais on repeat. When it comes to lighting up the braai, no need to stress. Vic's got your back with a flame that never flakes. Unlike some of your friends. With up to 750 lights, the big mega light has got your whole summer covered. Take braai season to the next level and stand the chance to win one of 10 ultimate braai kits worth 5,000 Rand when you buy any big mega lighter or big firelighters. See in store for details. Because braais are best with Bic.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
We thought Swelele is coming back to bring that vibe of Bloemfontein. Now they are firing coaches and they're getting rid of players. What is the actual reason? What's happening?
I come to you today with good and bad news.
When you hear those stories of players traveling by bus.
So we put a policy in place that requires us only to fly when traveling above 600 kilometers.
What can I say? Swelele, we've watched this movie before.
We have parted ways with our CEO, Stan Matthews, and our assistant coach, Andre Abenson.
Is this the team that was coming with big ambitions and we were told that they are buying land?
We are also going to terminate the contracts of various players who have not shown the heart and the willingness to fight for this team.
#MSW.
#MSW. Not positive, Mike. Mike is not positive. It took 20 minutes.
Get inside the action and huddle.
Can't just attack and attack and attack.
With Robert Marawa on Room Dividers.
The Room Dividers?
The Room Dividers. On Marawa Sports Worldwide.
All right, so we are crisscrossing today between Durban, where the big announcement was made, which is also going to be the very same city that's going to stage the Argentina versus Springbok game over the weekend. And that's where you find Mike Greenaway. And as we're heading into the break, Mike, I wanted to throw at you just a question around the bench. What's the split looking like?
Yes. So we've got 3 backline players on the bench. And yeah, look, questions have been asked. Have we seen the end of the 7-1? Have we seen the end of the 6-2? Look, this split here, where we have to have extra backline power on the bench, is a doff of the cap in the direction of Argentina, how they play. They've got speedsters everywhere. We heard Rassie talk about it in that audio clip earlier. They've got a lot of pace out wide. They've got a lot of playmakers in their backline, a lot of sevens guys, actually. So this is a game where the Springboks cannot be caught short with not enough backline substitutes. If it would be an absolute gamble if we only had 1 back on the bench or 2. If guys went down injured, and with all that pace out wide that Argentina have got, Rassie had to go with sufficient backline backup. Just, guys, sorry, man, I just want to share an insight talking about Rassie and his planning. Just something that came up in today's press conference, which I thought was extremely interesting. We were talking about Damian Willems earlier, and last week in Wellington, eyebrows were raised a little when he was chosen to start at 12. And he hadn't played 12 for the Springboks before, and we were wondering exactly why. And Rassie said, look, the reason why I did that is I just had a hunch that I could get Damian Willems back into form. Because Rassie said, I felt that he wasn't in form, that he'd lost confidence. And that being out at full back when he was a little bit out of form was not the right place to be, because he's a little bit isolated. So I had a hunch that if I move him to 12, where he's closer to the action and he has to get involved more, knowing his talent as I do, and knowing that he's such an instinctive player, if I put him there, he'll click back into his best rugby form. And hey presto, that's exactly what happened. He deliberately moved him closer to where the action is, and he's player of the match. Yes, I thought that's just how good Rassie is, and knowing his players and knowing what a few moves around the chessboard can produce a checkmate.
Yeah, certainly.
Well, very clever.
Absolutely. And I think, Mike, if I'm not mistaken, he actually called that combination in midfield an exciting combination. Dialandi bringing in 91 caps of experience and physicality. You look at Moody, he brings electrifying pace. There's that instinctive line running as well. So, it's a balance between brute force and finesse.
Yeah, look, and I asked him the question. When I saw that Damien de Allende was back at 12, you immediately start to think, well, then where's Jesse Kriel? Because they are such a experienced combination. Damien and Jesse, they kind of go together. And Jesse was quite frank. He said, look, Kanan at 13, like Damian Willems the previous week, showed me just how instinctive he is and how much talent he's got, and I don't want him wasted on the wing. So I want to keep him there, and he proved himself in the air as well, and we know that the Argentinians are extremely good in the aerial battle, and that is a straightforward selection where he's preferred Kanan Moody to Jesse Kriel. And he did say, look, this is the combinations that I think is best to beat Argentina, but that doesn't mean that Jesse Kriel is not going to play more games for South Africa. But this is the backline that I think is best to win a game that could decide the rugby championship.
I think that's the kind of man management that a manager would need to bring in, because people will still ask questions. Hey, what's happening with Faf de Klerk? Hey, guys, what's happening with Bongi Mbonambi? He was there as part of the squad, but he's not part of the team that's been selected for the weekend. But let's go back, though, to that Damian Dialandi and Kanan Moody combination. Here's Rassie.
I think earlier this year we also had Damian and Kanan together. I'm not quite sure. I think so. But, Damian and Lucanio was a combo at one stage. Lucanio is coming back. The URC is playing. He's in the mix in a week or so. Keenan and Andre is a great combo. We enjoy Andre off the bench. But if you just look at the changes we've made, it's mostly injury forced, and we thought, Keenan really, when he's close to the ball, and I feel also make a little bit more instinctive calls where he doesn't have to stand there on a wing and work with the fullback and so on. I think he's, again, like Damien, sometimes a really good instinctive player. And to have Damien Dalende come in whilst Andre Estres and I'm missing out, Jesse will play for us a lot more. So it's nice to try the combos, yes.
Yeah, I think you and the coach are pretty much in sync, Mr. Manana.
Yeah, I mean, Rob, for me, what will always be interesting is, the coach just moving the goalpost. There's nothing wrong to say, this is the combination we're happy with and to go with. I mean, I take you back to the World Cup, where at the end, Liebok was substituted in the first half for Henry Pollard to change the game. And when it went to the finals, Liebok wasn't in the team. That's how rugby works. I think no one is guaranteed in the green and gold jersey. I think that should be it. It's good to have the squad and rotating the squad. But also you do understand, Rob, is by rotating, we don't actually know who's our starting 15. And in a rugby sense, you need to know who's your best 15 going forward. You can then rotate once you know this is where we're going. And I'm of the view he's done minimum changes compared to the 7 changes he's made. So that's good. I think the Eben Etzebeth coming in place of Lord, it's an injury and forced one. Remember, we were told that he was taking a break and he was rested for that game. But luckily enough, Lord had an injury. So it's an injury change. The fullback is an injury change. But if you look up front, for me, is you spoke about Bongi. He's not in the team, obviously, but he's shifted now. Jan-Hendrik Wessels to reserve hooker, and you had Bongi there. One would have thought Bongi would get the nod, but not really. Fanta comes in at loose head with Wilco low. So he's still sticking to Wilco coming off the bench. And I think they just understand where his role is. Wilco is coming when loose heads are tired. It's a second half. He just demolish whatever is in front of him. So for me, the combination is good. There's nothing wrong to say this is my best starting 15 against an Argentina team which has the likes of Montoya, Garcia, Carreras, and then the fullback, Cruz Matias. Very good players. That's why I said earlier, Rob, this is the most 50-50 rugby champs we've had in a while. So he's not going there trying combination. He's going there with his best team, and that's our best team. He can say whatever he wants to say in terms of Jesse will be in the mix. No. He wants to win this. Then he can bring the Jesses on where we just need a point to go through. And also what will happen in Eden Park when you have the Bledisloe playing New Zealand and Australia. So the permutation is this team must win Argentina, and then we get to see all the other players in London at Twickenham playing just to make sure that they were part of the last game of the rugby champs when we win the cup.
And just a reminder, though, Mike, for South Africans that are listening in, is that it's a do or die for all 4 of them going into this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rassie did talk about kind of a little bit of an advantage the Springboks have got, and Argentina by that token, because they're playing the late game. They're playing at 5 p.m. in Durban, and at 9 a.m. that morning is the Bledisloe Cup in Auckland between Australia and New Zealand. And Rassie was saying, look, I'm not going to kid you. I'm going to watch that game because and just see where the log is afterwards, because it then tells us exactly where we stand. And he said, look, you still got to approach the game that it's a test match that you've got to win, and sometimes it's a bit of an ambush to chase bonus points. But he said it is helpful to know where you stand, and you can adapt how you play if you absolutely have to get bonus points. So yeah, I mean, and it is going to be decided by bonus points. I'm certain of it. Each team has won 2 and lost 2. It's going to be nip and tuck, and whoever wins this championship, it'll probably be by a point.
And I think the Grant Williams story, I think Tanda was just about to talk about it, but let me take it back, though, with Monet van der Berg replacing Grant Williams on the bench. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's an injury-related thing. I'm pretty sure Grant would have retained his place, but he has picked up a niggle, so it's a straightforward injury explanation there. Look, Rassi did say that his changes this week have been injury enforced. I think possibly we spoke about the second row a little earlier. I feel that if Luther Jager was not injured, I think the first choice second row would be Eben and Lurt, with Ron Norkier dropping to the bench. But other than that, I think this is the strongest Springbok team at the moment. I think this is Rassi's best side. And he's kind of been inching closer to picking his best starting 15, his best 23. Sorry, just interesting, we spoke about Volker Low. Yeah, and he explained that. He explained why Volko is finishing and not starting. And he said, and we saw it last week, Thomas du Toit started at tight head with Volko on the bench, and he said it's because New Zealand play at one heck of a pace, as do Argentina. They play a very speedy game. And he just felt that the pace of the game with Volko starting would be a little bit too much for him. No, I mean, he does get around himself. But you said Thomas is a very mobile player. I mean, we saw that with him playing for Bath in the English Premiership. He covers a lot of ground. So Rassi said, I like to start with Thomas, and then Volko comes on in the last half an hour or so where the game is starting to sort of lose a little bit of its pace, and he can be more at home. And then he's got more puff to win those scrum penalties, and it's working like a dream.
All right. Also, you've got to keep an edge on our time here, guys, because I don't know what happens with the room dividers. Time just zooms by. But let me touch on two rookies here quickly and maybe get your insight here, Tando. Boan Venter replacing Manu van der Merwe on the bench. How key is that?
Well, you've got to understand that they've got really someone who's like a 6 and 9 in Jan-Hendrik Wessels. He was a loose head against the All Blacks in Wellington. He's now the replacement hooker. So he can play both for his province as well at the Bulls. So what you get then is there's an opening at loose head. And quite interesting enough, I think the Fenta boy is doing exceptionally well from Edinburgh, as we all know. So he's coming in, he's getting another run. He did well when he debuted against Georgia in Nelspruit. So for me, I just get a sense that with Wilco coming in the second half, any loose head will look good. Jan Hendrik looked very good against the All Blacks, Rob, in Wellington.
Yes.
Because Wilco is in. And he's the best tight head in the world for me at this current juncture. And I like the fact that Rassi says, we'll start with Thomas because he knows Thomas was a loose head.
Yeah.
So he can get around the park much quicker.
30 seconds. Let's touch on the leadership. Siya Kolisi back to lead.
Rightfully so.
And he is knocking on 100.
He's playing his 95th test. So he'll play 100 by the end of the year, so which is good. If not, he'll definitely play his 100th test next year. But it will be good in 2025, 30 year of democracy, 100 years. So there's a lot of celebrations to go with that 100 if we were to make it this year. The only sad thing is that he will make it away from home because this is our last test match at home in Durban. The rest, the 6 test match coming up, are all away games.
There's no such thing as away. There's South Africans all over the world, Mike. So we've seen that at Lords. We've seen it last week. South Africans make their presence heavily felt. Maybe just a quick last word from your side as well, Mike. 30 seconds.
Yeah, like you say, South Africans everywhere. And next week it's a kind of a home game at Twickenham against Argentina. I'm with Rassi in saying the Boks don't want it to come down to having to win a game away from home, although we had said it's almost home. The Boks have to win on Saturday and win well to give themselves the inside lane to win the rugby championship. They're treating it like a final, and rightly so.
All right, hopefully the stadium will be packed down in Durban. Mike Greenaway joining us as a room divider on assignment down in Durban with the Boks squad at the hotel Mhlanga. Mike, thank you so much. See you next week.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you in the studio, guys.
Thank you very, very much indeed, Mr. Manana. I won't ask you for any prediction this week.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't want you breaking all your arms. You're going to break a leg.
Thank you.
You're all patched up and stuff from all these wrong predictions you've had.
But I will be there the game.
down in Durban?
I will be at the game, Rob.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Ticket sorted?
Rob, I will be at the game.
Sitting where?
Where do you want me to sit?
Presidential.
Why?
Because that's your stature, sir.
Which stature? I sit on the grandstand.
You don't know what that looks like.
I know the seat number.
What is it?
L38. East.
That's the 38th lie you've said. L38 stands for line number 38. Bye-bye, sir.
On the east.
Cheers. Your mic is off. Tune in again next week on Tuesday for Room Dividers right here on the hashtag MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide. Proudly brought to you by F&B. Grassroots to greatness. Right here 947, Rise FM, Vuma FM, and Sowetan Live. I'd like to take a bit of a breather tomorrow. It is a public holiday, so do enjoy. We'll be back again on Thursday for Marawa Sports Worldwide. Proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
The thrill, the drama, the action. Play the game again. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. Hashtag MS.